Ted, don't you think that? You think they should be there all? Yeah. They would be there all night.
Well, I think they'd be there like by 6 a.m. because they know from the past that we do actions starting early when employees are coming. They should know that. If they're doing their job representing us, they should know that.
Because they don't feel all that threatened by us.
Yeah, they know we're nonviolent. Yeah, maybe.
They don't want to pay people.
You know,
7 o'clock.
It's also there's a new sheriff in town, right? There's a new head of FERC, and it may be I don't know. Maybe he's not experienced one of our actions, so that may be part of it. Make a good time here.
Okay, this is L, and I'm going to turn on it because it's the right way, so I think K might be the wrong way.
Okay. K goes both ways, but if you can, yeah, I guess that could work.
He's not dead yet.
And then turn right here onto whatever this is. I guess so.
Okay.
You know, we may end up back on to Massachusetts again. So, yeah, you might want to turn left if you can up here to get up to K, which I think is the next one. Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This looks good.
Well.
Yep. Once just let us off at that corner, or basically anywhere, I guess. Yeah, it looks like.
Well, if I'm at
right
this traffic light, I could just put on the four-ways and you all can hop out, or maybe I can get into this parking spot here.
Yeah, this would be good.
Woo-hoo!
Just put it right there. Yeah, that's fine.
Giant rubber bands. Yeah, and then we're gonna have to figure out where we need to stop. Like here. All right. I understand. We're gonna lift it up and see where we need to secure this.
Yeah, it didn't look like it, but when you hold it again, it does. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's better.
Okay, so 2 people on that end who are tall enough and strong enough. Okay, we have to lift it over the... Slide it, Kendall. Slide it towards you. Okay, now we're taking it out on the sidewalk. Let's take it down past the parking lot. Just get it beyond this driveway. Okay, let's set it down.
Should the banner be behind you or on the side of you?
I think the banner should be behind you. Yeah.
And you can face out and look at the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the people.
Watch the sun.
Okay, let's set this down right here.
Behind you?
Yeah.
Facing the FERC building?
Yeah.
And Drew, you think?
Same thing for mine, so yeah.
Okay.
Let's do them the same way.
So they'll get stapled here. And and then just drape down. We have rubber ties too. So I think
I haven't seen it yet. Is it worth it?
What it's doing now is, because it's heavy, it's pulling the piece of bamboo into its slant, but the brake is much straighter.
Okay, with the door, we can tie the rubber tie it.
All right.
Yes.
We gotta wait for the tower ahead of us to get ready.
Pick it up. Okay?
It's going all the way.
We don't have to rush. Take your time, Kendall.
I was going back and forth with
When do you got here about 6:15? I gotta go get the shoes. The shoes are so I'm gonna get it.
So just be quiet.
Don't just watch the trees.
Peter, come on up.
Facing forward.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it out in the street there in the gutter.
Yeah, we need someone to watch them.
Let's go.
Great. Great.
Okay, move it.
This is facing that way. We're gonna face this. We're gonna do this. Okay, lift it up. Put your fingers down. Let it go.
A little bit more. There you are. Beauteous. Look good, or they just scooted? Are you alright?
Okay, I don't think we need you.
Step on the bottom.
Okay, you got it. Is this the way you want to face?
Which three of the signs are facing two different ways?
Yeah.
Do you want them facing the
Want to
public?
face the person? Be here.
His helmet.
How's that feel, Jeff?
I'm good.
Good.
Where's her helmet?
We need some reinforcements here to block the driveway.
Driveway.
So start singing.
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean
When
energy.
do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now. What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to
No permits, no methane. Stop the deadly gas machine. No permits, no methane. Stop the deadly gas machine. No permits, no methane. Stop the deadly gas machine. No permits, no methane. Stop the deadly gas machine. No permits, no methane. Stop the deadly gas machine. No permits, no methane. Stop the deadly gas machine. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Fossil fuels have got to go.
What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
What do we want?
Clean energy.
When do we want it?
Now.
Dirty power makes us choke.
Rising seas are not a joke.
Oh, this is tall.
Got it? Tell Margaret she doesn't know that, I don't think. Margaret! We're going to the front door.
Turn us around, ain't gonna let nobody turn us around.
Let them let the cars start the one.
Marching down to freedom.
We are the people too. You can't ignore us, free. We will not let you walk our planet. We are the people too.
No point in waiting or hesitating. We must get wise, no more lies. Do it now, now, now. We need to build a better future. And we need to start right now. We need to build a better future. And we need to start right now. No fracking, no pipelines, no dirty energy.
I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, 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 let it shine. and it's gone on for too long, and we won't be silent anymore. We won't be silent, and we won't be silent anymore. One more time, and we won't be silent anymore. Somebody's poisoning the air, and it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Yes, it's gone on far too long. Somebody's poisoning the air, and it's gone on. Got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose. And we are powerful, a new, unsettling force, and we're here, we're a new, unsettling force for liberation. And we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains. We are a new, unsettling force, and we are powerful, a new, unsettling force, and we're here, we're a new, unsettling force for liberation. And we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains. Unsettling force, and we're here for the new, unsettling force for liberation. And we got nothing to lose but our chains, and thank you. No more fossil fuel. We are gonna change the world. It's gonna last forever and ever. We're gonna change the world. We are a new, unsettling force, and we are powerful, a new, unsettling force for liberation. And we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains.
We are unstoppable. A greener world is possible. We are unstoppable. A greener world is possible.
All the fossil fuel projects which you are approving are destroying the environment. They're destroying people's livelihoods. They're destroying people's homes. They're destroying people's lives. This is all your fault because you greenlight all of these dirty fossil fuel projects without a care of what the consequences are. It is time to wake up and stop this madness before it is too late.
It's a little uncomfortable locked in the towers, we admit, but we're happy to do it, happy to hold some space for y'all and for all the pipeline fighters out there. Yeah. I know we got friends here from Massachusetts, we got friends here from North Carolina, I'm from South Carolina, we got Connecticut, Maryland, who else am I missing? Who else is here? New York.
Rhode Island.
PA, New Jersey. Rhode Island. Florida. We got Florida too. So our message to FERC is we're trying to crack you open, FERC. We see you splitting just a little bit. We see 2 commissioners dissenting, but 2 is not a majority out of 5. And we need the whole agency to turn itself around just like the song says. and point itself in the direction of renewable energy. This agency has been a tool of the fossil fuel industry for far too long. We're not going to take it anymore. So people are rising up. They're in communities all over the country, and we're here just to make a little room for all the pipeline fighters back home who can't get a word in with FERC. So we're making the space for their words to be heard. And so hundreds of folks have been chiming in on the live stream. Folks can share that out on your telephones, and we want folks to share their stories for FERC, share what FERC is doing in your community, and tell them what you want to do, and we'll make sure they get the message sitting here at 1st and FERC Streets.
I guess one of the biggest harms of many, many harms perpetrated by FERC is the use, allowing their applicants to use eminent domain, to take people's land totally unjustifiably from multi-generation landholders and abuse the land. This is something that is wrong, and Congress needs to step up. But if we took eminent domain away, I think it would be a lot harder to build these pipelines that nobody but the speculators and investors need. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
I'd like to tell you about a research paper that was published very recently in Science magazine. That's a very prestigious magazine to be published in. And the lead author is Dr. Alvarez, and the findings are that they've measured methane leakage from oil and gas operations in the United States and determined that the amount of methane leaking is 60% more than what the EPA says. That's a very significant amount of methane leakage that's not being accounted for on top of FERC not accounting for methane leakage. And Dr. Alvarez's group also shows that by just eliminating the leakage of methane by the industry, we could actually make some significant decreases in global warming. It's all tied together, and FERC needs to stop letting methane leakage occur by its approval of gas infrastructure that's basically unregulated. Thank you.
Well, now, soon and very soon, we are gonna change the world. It's gonna last forever and ever. We're gonna change the world. Sustainable energy. We are gonna change the world. Sustainable. Sustainable energy. We are gonna change the world. It's gonna last forever and ever. We're gonna change the world. Well, now keep it in the ground. We are gonna change the world. It's gonna last forever and ever. We're gonna change the world. It's gonna last forever and ever. We're gonna change the world.
We came here early this morning. We set up the frac towers, and the police decided to not arrest anyone. So here we are, which is kind of nice. And we have our pipeline with our writing on it. It's very changeable. It's really an awesome piece of art.
Hi, I'm Kathy Strickler from Harrisonburg, Virginia. In our beautiful valley, we are fighting the MVP and the ACP. And I just want to say how important every single act of resistance is. So I would love to honor these resistors.
Very good. You're welcome.
Okay. And I'll go back
What
to
a lovely
that.
gesture. And you guys deserve it. Reverend Yearwood, would you like to speak now? Okay. So this is Reverend Yearwood, the president, I don't know your title, of the Hip Hop Caucus. Yeah, and he's with us. He's always with us. He's so amazing.
I want to thank all of you again for coming out here. We shouldn't have to come out here, but we do. To be clear, the reason why we have to come out here is because this is FERC and not PERC. It isn't the private Energy Regulatory Commission, it's the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. And so because it's federal, we pay our tax dollars, you work for us, FERC, and not for the poisonous fossil fuel industry.
That's right.
We need to sometimes remind FERC that they're not PERC, the Pipeline Energy Regulatory Commission who works for the fossil fuel industry. We need to remind them sometimes that I know they get $300 million for their budget, and a lot of that comes from the leasing, and they have kind of a come and go between the fossil fuel industry. Either you work for the fossil fuel industry, then you work for FERC, or you work for FERC, or then you work for the fossil fuel industry. I understand how that back and forth goes, but in the midst of that, when you were filling out your application, putting in your resume, you weren't putting in your resume for Shell or BP or Exxon. You were putting in your resume to fight for the people of this great country, the United States of America. That is what you signed on to do. So when you see people taking to the streets saying that you are not doing your job, that is because you have decided to be on the side of those who are with the fossil fuel industry and not with the people. So let me say this first to all of the amazing pipeline fighters, those who are just like this in the streets, but those who are in West Virginia, those who are in Virginia, those who are in Louisiana, those who are in Nebraska, those who are up in Canada, in Maine, Pennsylvania, Maryland, North Carolina, Washington, D.C., New York, British Columbia, Massachusetts, Connecticut. All of those great states, you have amazing water protector pipeline fighters standing up for the next generation. And so,
If this dies, if we can't get it back, we're going to do the people's mic, just so you know.
got that.
Oh, Rev can speak it. Here.
We'll see. So let me just say this, a couple of things. The importance of this gathering and what you have done in this new movement on pipelines. The first thing that has happened there is that this movement has spurred so many other movements across the country and across North America and across the world. There are pipeline fighters who are in Canada, there are pipeline fighters who are all over this country, there are pipeline fighters who are in the continent of Africa, the continent of South America, all over this world. There are people who are standing up fighting against pipelines with this simple message: do not build pipelines. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
You know, I'm from the movement, Ted, and we know sometimes we have a people's march and we got to stand up. So mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
We the people.
We the people.
Stand up.
Stand up.
Against FERC.
Against FERC.
We the people.
We the people.
Stand up.
Stand up.
For the next generation.
For the next generation.
We the people.
We the people.
Have no choice.
Have no choice.
But to fight.
But to fight.
Against climate change.
Against climate change.
Against fossil fuels.
Against fossil fuels.
Against fracking.
Against fracking.
We the people.
We the people.
Stand up.
Stand up.
For our children.
For our children.
For your children.
For your children.
Because we the people.
We the people.
Fight for.
Fight for.
Clean air.
Clean air.
Clean water.
Clean water. Revolution!
In the spirit of those who fought for so many other movements for equality, the movement for people of color, the movement for gay rights, the movement for women's rights, all those great movements for equality. But now we're fighting for the movement to fight against extinction. And we're fighting for our planet and for our people. And so my brother Ted told me a long time ago, I was here last time, we're going to sing that song that they sang then. And we're going to sing it now in the same spirit. Ready? We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
We are not afraid.
We are not afraid. We are not afraid. We are not afraid today. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Okay, everybody, we're in front of the beast, man. So, most of you know me, but those who don't, that's our well water in northern Pennsylvania. 10 years. See the swirly stuff? That's diesel fuel and antifreeze. That's a private water well, 6th generation property. My family's been in northeastern Pennsylvania for 186 years on the same property. I own it now. I can't live there. 5 years ago, our water went bad. 10 years ago, my neighbor's Endemic's water went bad. 14 years ago, the water went bad in southwestern PA. And that doesn't include what's going on in Oklahoma, Texas, Louisiana, Colorado, North Dakota, Wyoming. There are 34 states that allow unconventional, horizontal hydrofracking. You know what they don't call it anymore? Slick water. Slick water is what happens when you put diesel and antifreeze in the water to drill with. Come on, folks. We can do better than this. Yesterday, I took my friend Ray Kimball, who couldn't be here. He's from Dimick. This is his neighbor's well water. And we went and drove the Chevy Bolt, the all-electric vehicle. I'm only bringing it up
because even Ray don't need a mic either, Rev. Even Ray, who's a total gearhead, been working on cars that burn gas forever, he's totally in love with an electric vehicle that he can charge from a power wall. Yep. And I don't know if it's still working, it doesn't matter. So that's where we're all going. That's where I'm going. I'm getting rid of my gas guzzling SUV. I'm going, and I'm not going to plug it into the wall. I'm going to run it off solar panels and charge it. And we're going to put these guys out of business. We're going to put the fossil fuel industry out of business. They are.
Mic is on.
Okay. They are buggy whip manufacturers in the age of SpaceX. They're all done, FERC. You guys might as well go home. Because the fossil fuel industry that supports you, we're putting them out of business. We don't need them anymore.
Drilling holes in the ground for energy is so 180 years ago. Come on, guys. And by the way, did you guys see the latest financials for the industry?
Yeah.
$883 billion in debt. Look up Enron. Enron was $40 billion and it almost took the entire U.S. financial industry down. They are $1 trillion in debt and nobody's even talking about it.
Well, we will. You know why?
because the faster everyone in America learns that these guys are Ponzi scheme sellers of swampland in Florida that have nothing to offer any of us or the future of the country, the faster we all start telling them, hey, it's okay, we'll make our own energy. You guys can drill holes in your head if you need to, when you're not drilling holes in the ground. So I'm here to say this is what's on the other end of every pipeline that they're building, is an extraction colony. And you know what we did a long time ago? We tied the extraction colony with the pipeline victims. That's what they are. They drew an arbitrary line across their property, and we go where? Cove Point, Maryland, and all the other export terminals, because it's all going elsewhere. We all know this. None of this is for us. Anybody want to know what's going to happen to the price of gas and oil when we start exporting it? It's going to skyrocket. All this cheap gas right now is a joke. It's all being pumped up by the industry, and they are going to laugh while we have to spend 3 times the amount of money. So let's laugh at them and just say, no mas, not interested. Take your fracked gas and your pipelines to everywhere else but here, and forget it, we're not interested. I like to call this generational suicide, because my children are the 7th generation owners of my family property, and my 2 grandchildren are supposed to be the 8th, and they can never live there. I'll never let them live there because the water has been contaminated. So it's time for us to stop this before they do it, not only to the United States, but every other country's watching us. And if we can't figure out, like John Kennedy said in 1961, Earth to the moon. Okay, that's great, and get a man back, we've already done that. How about Earth to the wind, Earth to the sun, Earth to the tides? We're going to run our country and our world on renewable, so our children have a place to live that has clean water and clean air. I hope you'll all join us, because I know Rev and many of the people here, that's what we're here for. We're not here to put the oil and gas industry out of business. We're here to show everyone they're obsolete already, and it's time for them to lay down and die like the dinosaur juice that's underneath the ground they're pulling out. Thank you for being here, everybody.
Check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
Mic check.
I was holding the banner.
I was holding the banner.
I was the last one on the end of the line.
That was the last one on the end of the line.
3 men.
3 men.
Dressed very well.
Dressed very well.
Shiny and pink.
Shiny and pink.
With that stance and that walk. You know what I mean?
Stance and that walk.
You know what I mean? They walked past the banner.
They walked past the banner.
They came to me.
They came to me.
They looked in my eyes.
They looked in my eyes.
And one of them said, you're very peaceful.
You're very peaceful.
That's good, right?
That's good, right?
I look back at him.
I look back at him.
With my peaceful warrior's eyes.
With my peaceful warrior's eyes.
My eagle's eyes.
My eagle's eyes.
My panther's eyes.
My panther's eyes.
And I thought to myself, yes.
And I thought to myself, yes.
I am all that.
I am all that.
I'm also a dandelion.
I'm also a dandelion.
I'm a weed.
I'm a weed.
They could pluck me.
They can pluck me.
They could throw me in jail.
They can throw me in jail.
And when they pluck me, my seeds will scatter everywhere.
My seeds will scatter everywhere.
When they approve a pipeline, they create more of us.
They create more of us.
We turn out in bigger numbers.
We turn out in bigger numbers.
When they frack somebody's property, they create another family of us.
They create another family of us.
They have created us.
They have created us.
We're not leaving.
We're not leaving.
We keep coming back in bigger numbers.
We keep coming back in bigger numbers.
Thanks to FERC.
Thanks to FERC.
Every time
a
young black man is killed by the police.
A young black man is killed by the police.
More people care.
More people care.
Every time
a
woman is abused.
A woman is abused.
And comes public with it.
And comes public with it.
More people
people care.
More people care.
Every time.
Every time.
They approve a pipeline.
They approve a pipeline.
More people care.
More people care.
Our roots.
Our roots
are connected.
Are connected.
Each one of us is a weed, a dandelion.
Each one of us is a weed, a dandelion.
And our roots are connected.
And our roots are connected.
And they're healing.
And they're healing.
They're healing that we are the immune system of the world.
And they're the immune system of the world. The immune system of the world.
And that is the poison.
And that is the poison.
And the more poison, the more the white blood cells come forward.
The more poison, the more the white blood cells come forward.
And so we'll keep coming back.
And so we'll keep coming back.
So, as most of you know, I'm from North Carolina. North Carolina's a state that's racing Mississippi to the bottom and backward into the 19th century, at least trying to do so. But you know, we have many dandelions.
Yes!
I want to just name a few, because these are the heroes of the fight against the Atlantic Coast Pipeline and a fight to preserve the water and the environment and sustainability in North Carolina. I want to name Donna Chavez, a Lumbee woman who lives in Robeson County, who has been standing up all her life for Native Americans and for the indigenous Lumbee people, who many of us in eastern United States have not heard of, even though they're the largest tribe east of the Mississippi. There are 40,000 of them living in Robeson County, and Donna is responsible for putting them on the map and making their voices heard along the Atlantic Coast Pipeline and here at FERC. I want to name Tom Clark. Tom Clark is a retired fireman. He's about 65 years old. He's never done anything like this in his life. He called me up a couple of weeks ago and said, "Steve, you know what I did, in spite of the fact that my wife gave me a really hard time about it?" I said, "What?" He said, "I made a banner. I made a banner saying," I don't know exactly what it said, but something about the Atlantic Coast Pipeline. But he not only made a banner, you know what he did with it? He took it 3 miles out and hung it off a bridge on I-95. And it was there for 2 days before it disappeared. That's Tom Clark. Tom Clark also has been really inspired by the story of the Lorax. And he and I rode on a stump of a tree that the Atlantic Coast Pipeline has cut down on his property. Tom calls it the grandfather tree. This tree was there when he was a child and used to help his grandfather with the farming on this property. And so we rode on the stump. We wrote, "The Lorax cries because of the ACP." And so now he carries a banner. He took it to Raleigh last week that said something like, "Governor Cooper, listen to the Lorax." Yes. Tom Clark is the dandelion. Marvin Winstead. Marvin Winstead is in Nash County. Marvin Winstead has been a farmer all his life. Marvin Winstead is in his 60s also. He owns 120 acres of family land. The insult to him was the Atlantic Coast Pipeline is going from one corner to the opposite corner of his property, right down the middle. You know what that does to property values?
If it were built.
If it's built, yes. Well, Marvin calls me three weeks or a month ago and says, "Hey, Steve, I got an idea. Governor Cooper's father," Governor Cooper's our present governor, he's a liberal Democrat, which means he's got both firmly planted in mid-air. One of his feet is planted against offshore drilling. The other foot is planted to get the ACP approved. But in any case, so Marvin says to me, "Hey, Steve, I got an idea." Governor Cooper's father grew up on this piece of property, between this 2 or 3 miles between two creeks. He said, "We should have a walk between those two creeks because that's where the Atlantic Coast Pipeline is going." So Marvin, bless his heart, took the initiative, and Marvin, like Tom, had never done anything like this before, took the initiative, and with a little bit of support, organized a walk. Last Saturday, 50 of us. Kathy was there, Maple was there, I was there, and was anybody else from here? Ken, no. So that's Marvin Winstead, a dandelion. His seeds are all over Eastern North Carolina right now. I want to call out Gary Grant. Now, Gary Grant's been in this fight for all of his life. Gary lives on land in Tillery in Halifax County. This land, it was something like 60,000 acres during the Depression that Roosevelt distributed to African Americans in Tillery in Halifax County. Some of that land's been lost through all kinds of chicanery and so on, but still a lot of it is in the hands of those families. Gary has fought like hell to keep that land in the hands of local people. He also was very involved. Some of you have heard about the struggle in Warren County in the 80s. A company got a contract to dump or get rid of PCBs from transformers, one of the most carcinogenic chemicals that human beings have the ingenuity and greed and audacity and corruption to create. They took and dumped the PCBs on the roads of Eastern North Carolina, and Gary helped lead the fight to stop that. And in the process, the environmental justice movement, as we know it, got started. Gary is a dandelion. Now, he's an older dandelion. He's been around a long time. His seeds are already spread all over Eastern North Carolina. I could name 5 other people, 5 other dandelions who have come into their own during this fight. So thank you, FERC, for helping us spread the dandelion message.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Joe. I'm from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. In Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, we have a giant green snake going across our countryside. It's known as Atlantic Sunrise Pipeline. Lancaster's really good and very diligent at fighting it, but it's snaking across and it's killing our countryside. But right now, I live in Ellicott City, Maryland. How many people are familiar with Ellicott City, Maryland?
Yeah.
We had a catastrophic flood in 2018, but we also had one 2 years ago.
Yes.
And in West Ellicott City, we have the Atlantic Sunrise Pipeline. We have a giant compressor station that was allowed to triple its capacity.
Whoa.
We need to get the word out. It's coming through Maryland. Our politicians say, oh no, it's going north. But you remind them it's going south. They're so busy being paid off by Williams and others that they're just are blinded. So hopefully we'll get the word out. Howard County, Maryland, Ellicott City, we need to get rid of the pipeline. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm Ted Glick, and I've been working with BXC a long time. I live in New Jersey, and since after I retired from working with CCAN here in this area 3 years ago, I've been doing a lot of work in New Jersey, and I'm glad to report that the movement against pipelines there is strong, it's growing, and it's actually winning victories. There, with the Williams Company, same pipeline company, the Williams Company has 3 proposed pipelines or upgrades of their infrastructure that are being looked at by FERC. And we fully expect that FERC will rubber stamp them all as they always do. We will resist them. We probably will take them to court. You hear me, FERC? We're taking you to court. But what has happened is that the state environmental agency they basically have forced Williams to 2 days before they were about to make their decision. Williams pulled their permit application because they knew it was going to be rejected, and they're going to reapply. But that's another year for Williams on that one. That's the Northeast Supply Enhancement Pipeline. And there's another one called the Gateway Expansion Project that is about doubling the size of a compressor station in Roseland in Essex County and doing other things. And they were about to get a key water quality permit from the state, but a group of us mobilized, a coalition mobilized, put all kinds of pressure on the state environmental department, and they just recently announced that they have told Williams their pipeline application is deficient, and they're going to hold a public hearing in a local high school on August 7th, and we're mobilizing already to have a really big showing. So there's a strong movement that is happening in New Jersey right now, working with people in New York who are fighting against the Williams pipeline too. So just one more thing in terms of this whole campaign that we've had against FERC. You know, we call this action Crack FERC Open. And the reason is that there are cracks appearing in FERC. And it's within FERC in many ways because of what's happening outside of FERC. It's happening because of all of the pressure that BXC and many other groups have been bringing on FERC. That's a long one. That we've been bringing on FERC for years. It's happening because of court decisions that are going against what FERC wants to do.
Yes.
Just a year ago, there was a court decision saying that FERC needed to seriously analyze the climate impacts of the proposed pipelines. And yet, the new majority, the 3 Republicans of the 5 commissioners at FERC, made their decision by a 3-2 vote, I guess about a month and a half ago, on one pipeline project that they didn't need to analyze the climate impacts, and they're continuing now to follow that through. So we can probably expect to see a lot of 3-2 votes in the coming months and years. That didn't happen at FERC before. FERC was a bipartisan, gas supporting rubber stamp machine. And it's not as if the 2 Democrats are all about what we want to see, right? We shouldn't say that. But there's something going on there, and part of it is this mobilization and the growing unpopularity of fracking and fracking pipelines and the movement that's being built. So let's just keep it up. We have to keep this pressure going, do our local organizing, our state organizing, and keep the pressure on FERC and other targets. The people can win this one. We have to just keep strong and keep fighting.
First of all, let's all say thank you, Drew.
Thank you, Drew.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica.
For helping us hold this space today. And create our sacred community. That's going to become the new world. You heard from Ted. That we have some wins. We know this is a long road. But we've come a long way. We have lots of work to do. But we can't do it without a vision. We know where I come from. In New York State. We have many infrastructure projects. And we have a governor that's running scared from us. He's pretending to be a climate leader. And he's appeasing the frackers on Wall Street. On Friday night. At 7 p.m. He released a risk report. About the Spectra pipeline. Running 100 feet away from Indian Point nuclear power plant. We've been asking him to show that for 2.5 years. And he finally released it. Because he's feeling the pressure. together. And we grow together. We build a piece of art. To show the vision that we are working towards. I'm going to ask the two people on the FERC building to take a few steps forward to about here and join together. These are words that came from all of you. To describe FERC. I'll read a few of them. Grotesque. Smug. Dehumiliating. Sham. Racketeer. Rubber stamp. Obtuse. Oppress. Annihilate. These are not words that should describe our world. Who's ready to crack FERC open? We are. Three people on either side of this. Three people can grab that orange strip here. And this is going to be theatrical. Don't pull it really hard. And more people over here. And if you would all like to join them, please do. Yes, let's crack FERC open. 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 Crack FERC Our friend Margaret Flowers saw our vision. The Federal Renewable Energy Transformation. We can do this. This is our vision. Let's keep fighting.
Fight when and where we can. We're fighting the Mariner pipelines across the south side of the state. Every project that you block is that much less gas that comes out of the ground. So I want you to tell the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission that we will be heard.
There's a 1-year-old that would like to say something. She's new to the world and she has something to say. Her name is Ruby. Ruby, come on. Ruby and Ellen.
Ruby is her name. Ruby is her name.
All right, so I am Ellen Taylor. This is my granddaughter Ruby. This is her first action. This is not my first action. I am no stranger to that driveway. And I am so happy to represent grandparents and parents. And she is very pleased and proud to represent all the children. We have to keep in mind what lies ahead for Ruby and her entire cohort. Rising seas, untenable temperatures, and it's all because we won't keep fossil fuels where they belong, in the ground. Her grandma's house up in Albany has solar shingles. And Ruby's going to live in a house with solar
too.
Yes.
I promise. That's my promise to her, that I will do what I can to keep the planet safe, whole, and healthy.